Shot! And a goal! Seattle has their first! All I gotta say is Porter can't say shit.
He's a tough kid.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the Rave Green pill, you stay in Western Conference land, and we show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Welcome back to the Seattle Sounders simulated season here on Scuttlebutt Sims. Tonight, they face DC United here at CenturyLink Field. I'm Andrew Harvey, and I'm joined by a man who is offering the truth and nothing more, Jackson Felts.
Andrew, I know Kung Fu, and I'm excited to use it today here in the press box. I want to thank, of course, Alex Caulfield for letting me show up today in the press box with shorts and flip-flops.
You see here, Sounders starting 11 unchanged. You can also hear it being read out by the great James Woollard, Sounders PA voice. Thanks for kicking into the simulation, James.
Yeah, good to hear, James. And once again, Andrew, unchanged lineup. The health of this team continues to be fantastic. First choice starting lineup for Brian Schmetzer. Still wanting to see all of those subs be used. We just saw that lineup as we see DC United squad here. But excited to see what Seattle can do back at home here in beautiful, beautiful Seattle with the simulated sunny skies and birds chirping here at CenturyLink.
And actually, Jackson, I can just make out through the very small window of my doomsday bunker here in the Western Puget Sound that it's actually similar conditions right now on the eve of our recording this match.
Wow, how about that? Actual sun in Seattle? I thought that was only reserved for these computer simulations. Amazing. Have to get outside.
Happy May Day, everyone. Welcome into phase one, I guess, of the simulation as we're discussing an attempt to get back to normalcy. But in all honesty, Jackson and I have been having a lot of fun doing this as we're mean-mugged by the DC United players there moments from kickoff.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to get out the screen. There's beautiful Stefan Fry. But these are very, very fun to do, and we're happy that we could be getting some sense of normalcy, some sense of actual soccer being played, even though, of course, these are robots that we complain about. Finally, soccer at CenturyLink.
Absolutely. Sounders back at home following a dramatic 3-1 win over Real Salt Lake last weekend. Helped them improve to 2 wins, 3 draws on the season. Still unbeaten. Only other unbeaten team in Major League Soccer inside the simulation, Colorado Rapids, who stand in first place in the Supporter Shield race.
Yeah, boy, Kai Kamara, 7 goals this season. I believe Price has 6 assists. I mean, the statistics are just out of this world for the Rapids. We know that they had an amazing end to 2019, but this is just wild what they're doing here in this computer.
Ola Kamara bullied off the ball that time by Jamar Gomez Andrade. Roldan coming inside for Rui Diaz, links up with Lodero. Roldan been very active. He has 4 assists on the year inside the simulation. Now wide for Morris.
Yeah, Morris needs to push a little bit further up there earlier in the play. They were working ahead with Nicolas Lodero in the midfield. Didn't see Morris moving forward on that left side. He needs to be an outlet for Lodero, and he just wasn't there at the start of that play.
Morris had kind of an odd opening 15 in that match against Real Salt Lake last weekend, Jackson. A couple of uncharacteristic giveaways from him and a couple times getting caught out in the attacking third, but he really made up for it with a holy roller of a header.
Yeah.
I think Pulse Seattle level, if I can recall my simulation correctly.
That's correct. Yeah, it was 1-0 RSL at the time, and that header that Jordan Morris had felt like it took about 2 minutes to go in the goal. It took forever. He did need to get his footing.
Dangerous through ball here. It's Julian Gressel. He shoots and cannot put it on frame. Gressel, the big German, coming to the club this year from Atlanta United, and that is a chance he needs to put away, Jackson.
Wow, that's embarrassing. He should pretty much just run and hide because he's going to be booed out of his own stadium when he returns to D.C. after this game. That was a pathetic effort from Julian Gressel. I think that really either of us could have probably put that in because he's one-on-one with Stefan Fry at that point, and he doesn't even put that on target. Terrible chance there, but good for the Sounders early in this match to still be level at nothing.
Jackson, nice to know you're not editorializing too heavily with your commentary.
Never. Of course not. Yeah, the beautiful pass there, and another beautiful pass by Gustav Svensson, as we have a look in there, it looks like.
Now we're going to be flashing around to a bunch of other matches from around the league. You see here, looks like LA Galaxy have grabbed an early lead against Portland Timbers. And it's Chicharito who's done it.
How about that? He comes to MLS to retire, and he scores a goal. Good for him.
Well, you know, it was a point of contention because he had failed to score earlier on, and now the goal's coming freely, apparently, inside the simulation.
Yeah, certainly LA had a very, very tough time at the start of this season. When you don't have the god of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, certainly you're going to have some issues in the simulation because, of course, we know that Zlatan rules all in terms of life, computers, simulations, everything. So good to see LA finally doing something, and hopefully they resume nothing in the near future here in these weeks to come. I know Seattle will be facing them sometime in the future, I believe.
You think about clubs trying to make up for departing superstars, and DC United kind of fits into that mold as well, Jackson. More on that in a moment as there's a dangerous cross into Gressel, broken up on the inside. Could fall in here for Flores. And it's broken up. But this DC United team, Jackson, obviously the last couple of years relied so heavily on Lucho Acosta and, of course, Wayne Rooney. And both those players taking off. Now they've got Julian Gressel and Ola Kamara trying to fill the void left by them. Yeah,
Wayne Rooney, now what is it, player coach at Derby County? So he's certainly such a big point, and he was such a monumental piece for them from the moment he came in. There was just so many early moments for how Wayne Rooney affected that team.
Roldan, a nice pullback there. Lots of space for the cross. Roldan, drifting ball toward Morris. Nothing doing.
Yeah, Rui
back
Diaz
by Svensson.
Was offside there, but he was a decent outlet. If he could have just gotten back a little bit onside there for Christian Roldan, a great opportunity there. Roldan with so much space there in the box as Seattle tries to find that wonderful prime assist zone they do so many times.
It's a heavy touch from Morris. He's turned it over there. Russell Knaus, and from Pennsylvania, doing enough to break it up.
There's a Dom Dwyer scoring down there for Orlando, it looks like, Andrew. A longtime SKC player, now with Orlando City SC.
Please come to guest relations to claim your prize.
A franchise that has enjoyed really great support in its first couple of years here in Major League Soccer, but the results on the pitch have not followed, Jackson.
No, they have not. Certainly that's a club that has to kind of, and they've been, you know, financially, they've kind of gone out and made decent moves and tried to really do something, but you know, you were talking about it a couple weeks ago, I feel like, with Vancouver, where it's a sort of thing where you just try to find all the right ingredients to put together that leads to a winning and successful organization. A lot of it goes to culture of the club, right? And Orlando just hasn't built that culture yet, even though they have had decent ingredients together.
Ball in space up the right side. It's Flores. Quick cross in for Gressel. That one might have crossed over the goal line, but we play on.
Oh, nice move there.
Felipe loses out to Lodero.
Great move by Nico Lodero. Now you got to keep going. Run, keep going.
Lodero scoops it inside to Rui Diaz. Joao Paulo calls for it. Can't quite link up with Christian Roldan, but that one will be smashed into touch. And a corner given, forgive me. Good job by the assistant referee, who was about 35 yards away from the corner flag there. Excellent depth perception inside the simulation, Jackson.
Yeah, you know, they're never wrong, Andrew. They're absolutely never wrong, and a great opportunity for Seattle here with Nico's left foot.
Lodero's in-swinger. Picks out his target on the volley. Oh, my! What a strike and finish. And Christian Roldan breaking out the highlight reel, and Jackson, an early candidate for goal of the week.
That is a fun one. Let's look back at this. Off the post again. Second week in a row we've had one off the post. It was Kelvin last week. And this one, boy, what a volley there. And just hits the right inside of that post past the diving keeper. Not able to get that out. That's one that Christian Roldan will be watching for a very long time. He's thrilled by it. Sounders get this early 26th minute lead. Boy, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but that was a pinpoint perfect strike there by Mr. Christian Roldan.
good to see Christian Roldan getting the respect he deserves from the simulation, not only with his goal-scoring ability, but also just in his overall composition. If you go back to some older iterations of the simulation from 2015 or so, Roldan is a much changed man, to say the least.
Yeah, he certainly has. The facial structure and the features, he has certainly been put together much better here as we see this goal again. Boy, that is just perfect control on that volley, and you see him almost even start to celebrate before it even hits that post, as if he knows exactly where it's going before it goes in.
Well, you know, there's one thing Christian Roldan is known for. It's supreme confidence at all times, bordering almost on arrogance. I think that's generally how most people that know the man would describe him.
Yes, of course. That's always Christian Roldan's MO.
Kamara gone through here to Flores up the right side. Cross is blocked and gone out for a corner.
Yeah, Andrew Jamar Gomez Andrade, the one who sends it out for a corner. He's a guy we've talked about a couple weeks in a row, and he's had overall good games, just very quick instances that have led to a couple goals, but overall he has been exactly what we wanted out of this team, a big physical center back to go up against other big physical attackers here in MLS. He's been solid so far this year.
Ticking toward the half-hour mark. Cross knocked away at the near post. Junior Moreno back to Knaus. DC United rattling off one of their really first established runs of possession they've had in this match. A lot of turnovers for the visiting club. Helmed by Ben Olsen in his 10th year.
And the Sounders know how to absorb pressure here, but not give up dangerous shots. Let's see if they can avoid that here again.
Meanwhile, action between two Canadian clubs. Toronto FC grabbing that goal right around the same time as there's been an offside call here at CenturyLink.
Boy, right on the line there. Really nice call again. The referees certainly, they are on their mark today. The simulation doing all of their good calls here. Being at home, you know that you're always going to get the friendly calls.
Well, if there's one thing that I think universally is agreed upon by soccer fans, Jackson, it's that the greater use of cameras and video review has been an absolute boon to the game of soccer, and you won't find a single soccer fan that disagrees with that statement.
No, it's just universal appreciation and nobody ever complaining on Twitter or anything like that.
Morris, early cross, backside, Roldan had to go for goal there. Has he turned that in? Oh, it's on the outside of the net. Well, Christian Roldan has a little flair for the dramatic today. Take another look at this.
Ooh, and then I wonder, because he comes back out and then shoots it into the side of the net, I wonder if he would have been better off. Oh, he is going to get that. I was wondering if they were going to say that that was an inbound shot into the corner of the net. I was going to say leave it for a corner, but they're going to get one anyway, it looks like. That's good.
They scored on their last effort. Lodero looking for the same spot. This time it's knocked away. Jamar. Fought off the ball by Ola Kamara. DC United looking to clear out toward midfield. Jones gets it to Svensson. Lodero. Christian Roldan. Rui Diaz spins. Poked away. You can see he was ready to pull the trigger, Jackson.
Yeah, you always see Raul Rui Diaz typically take those chances and just instantly shoot. That one, it's just one touch too many. Rui Diaz would have been better to just turn around and not let that get poked away and just take a shot no matter the angle, because you have the defenders starting to condense down in on you.
Good movement here from DC United. Moreno. Kamara. Spins. Defenders right in his face. Javier Arriaga has it away. And referee was playing advantage, so now a free kick from 19 yards out. Knocked straight into the wall and cleared away.
Dangerous there from DC, but good that free kick was as bad as Gressel's kick earlier.
Moreno gone wide here. Yamil Assad. That one missed just wide right from Junior Moreno.
It's these moments, Andrew, where Christian Roldan hits the inside of the post by just a couple inches. That one just outside on the post by a couple inches. You know, it's just these inch by inch. You know, they say sports are games of inches, and we see it again here today. We're 42 minutes into this match, and the Sounders leading 1-0 and holding that lead because of just, barely missed shots there. Assad, it just man, a great chance there, and very, very thankful that that goes wide. But, you know, Stephen Fry did all that he could on that one. Just a dangerous chance there as they have another one here.
Flores cross won't find Kamara. They'll have a throw in, though. Knocked back. Knaus is there, doing battle with Morris. Flores inside for Felipe. Felipe lifted over the top. Ola Kamara, Stephen Fry right in the way.
And that was shaping up to be a very dangerous header there, just in no man's land between the center backs, and Kamara is able to kind of find that hole where I assume that Arriaga and Jamar Gomez Andrade thought that Stephen Fry was going to step up and get that, and thankfully the header goes right into the goalkeeper's chest. But, you know, if Kamara is able to put that a little bit to the right or the left, then Fry is immediately out of place, and suddenly we might be looking at a 1-1 game.
3 minutes of added time will play here in the first half. Ola Kamara trying to fight his way free, lays it off. There's Felipe back inside for Kamara, and Kamara tied up with Fry just outside the 6-yard box.
And there is Stephen Fry stepping up. We were just talking about it, and maybe something was said from those center backs to Fry of we need you to kind of step up in those moments because he's able to come forward and rattle that ball. But DC, listen, they are on the front foot right now. They're trying to equalize this game before half.
Moreno, Flores. The return for Knaus. Broken up by Jamar Gomez Andrade. We're at the end of the 3 minutes. This likely the last chance of the half, and Knaus spends too long with it. So the Sounders on the back of Christian Roldan's 26-minute volley off the corner go into the break leading 1-0, Jackson.
And what a goal it was from Christian Roldan. Just beautiful, hitting the inside of that post and getting past the keeper there. Listen, you're at home. It's a beautiful day. There's mac and cheese in the press box. I'm in shorts and flip-flops. Sounders lead 1-0. What could be better, Andrew?
Absolutely nothing, Jackson, and we look forward to a day when it is so once again. Hey, let's send it back to the studio where our very own Aaron Lingley has a wrap-up of this week's action around Major League Soccer.
All right, welcome to Across the MLS here. Let's catch you guys up. These are the matches from Wednesday of this week leading up to Saturday. We had Columbus in Columbus against Minnesota, the Loons, as you can see here. A penalty is converted by Zardes. Tyler Miller watches it go in there, and that's the only goal. 1-0. Pretty boring game to watch, actually. Tyler Miller, unlike Christian Roldan, did not get the call for a facelift from the simulation, unfortunately. Next one we got here is Toronto, another 1-0 match, and then you have Pozuelo here, beneficiary of some dynamic one-touch passing that went right down the gut. So New England actually is they've only scored 1 goal all season against a Canadian side. They've 0-0 draw to Montreal last week, so they're really struggling in north of the border there. So let's move on to our next ones. Who do we got? All right, we got Vancouver, another Canadian club with San Jose. Now I want you to watch the middle of the park here. Cavallini, watch him, gets the ball up and then drops like a sack of potatoes. Not touched by anyone, and then as you can see here, still writhing on the ground. The referee stops the match. Players from both sides approach him, worried about what's going on. Now, this is the multi-million-dollar signing by record-breaking, I guess, for Vancouver this year, the local product from Toronto, believe it or not. So that happened just after halftime, 0-0, and then all hell breaks loose. Vaco, the designated player on the opposition side, for San Jose, he buries that here. Now watch this Wando dummy. Look at that, or is that a back heel? Who knows? But Eriksson piles that into the back of the net. A goal that Gressel could only dream of. So unfortunate for Vancouver. You can see the Sounders are sitting at 6th place now as it stands here at halftime. There are some games later here today. There they are, 4th place in the West with 13 points. So let's see if they can hold on to it, guys.
Welcome back into CenturyLink Field as we get the second half underway. Sounders leading 1-0 over visiting DC United thanks to Christian Roldan. Andrew Harvey alongside Jackson Felts for you as we get the second 45 rolling.
We do, Andrew, and it was a good first half for Seattle. And, overall they kind of weathered the storm from DC United in the final 10 minutes of that first half, but Christian Roldan strike, and we see him on the defensive end here to start the second half. That was a beautiful goal. That certainly will be up for goal of the week, that beautiful volley that he had.
Quick ball in there to Ola Kamara. That's the second time today he's got his head to the end of the cross. Stefan Fry's answered the challenge both times.
And it will be interesting to see what DC United does here coming out at the start of the second half, because we saw for that last 10 minutes, as I mentioned, how much on the front foot they were really, really pushing hard for that equalizer. They didn't get it, and we see the possession stat there, 54% there in the first half. And I'm kind of interested to see how hard they push for that equalizer here at the start of the second half. If they continue that momentum, if they continue that kind of pace of play and how they were doing, or if they decide to kind of, take a moment to breathe a little bit and kind of regain. So I'm interested to see how they play the start of this half, or if they let the Sounders kind of just, because if they let the Sounders establish possession and kind of establish the way that Seattle wants to play, leading this match with 40 minutes left, they're in a dangerous spot.
Free kick restart here. Drops in very easily for Bill Hamid. Hamid, of course, now back with DC United, back in MLS after an attempted move to Denmark. Didn't quite pan out for him the way that he'd expected, but he's back now, and he is a known quantity in this league. Yeah,
no, it didn't pan out, but yeah, we know how the quality of him, and we've seen him with the national team, and we see that Bill Hamid is a quality keeper, and there was nothing he could have done on Christian Roldan's goal early in the 26th minute.
Assad's cross broken up and knocked away there. Moreno for Felipe. Back inside for Moreno. Moreno scuffed the chance earlier. That one's blocked.
Great job by Jamar Gomez Andrade. We talked about him earlier in this game, and there he is again, just sliding down, getting dirty, doing everything he needs to do to get in the way of that shot, not let DC even have a shot on goal. A really, really outstanding job, and that's the ability you have with the big physical center back, and then also the more technical and more kind of versatile Arriaga. That allows those two to play off of each other really well. We saw it there for that deflection.
As we tick toward the hour mark, we have to start to think about substitutes. More on that in a moment. Here's Gressel. Can't link back up with Felipe. Last two matches, Jordan Morris has been pulled off right around this time in the match in exchange for Harry Shipp.
Yeah, what was it, the 61st and 60th minutes respectively, I think, Andrew, both games, Vancouver and Real Salt Lake. And, was wondering in that Vancouver game a couple weeks ago if that was too early to make a defensive sub, and it ended up being a little too early. Last week, it was the right move from Brian Schmetzer as the Sounders were able to hold on for that 3-1 win. So let's see what he does here in the next few minutes, in the next few seconds, if he does make that change with a lead at home, and a guy in Harry Shipp who would be able to lock down this game for the last. So let's see what this first change is.
Well, it's another somewhat defensive-minded move. Jordi Delem will check in for Joao Paulo. Free kick, standard stuff for Stefan Fry. Delem, a youngster out of Martinique, and kind of another player who came in, cut his teeth down with Sounders 2, now Tacoma Defiance, and has become a pretty integral player, although usually in a substitute role for this club over the last couple of years.
Andrew, we've talked a lot about Jordi Delem, and the interesting thing that is Jordi Delem and the position that he's in with Seattle being a, right where we're seeing him, a guy who comes off the bench in the 60th minute, and he's an incredibly dependable player who you could start when any player in about 5 different places are injured, if they're, because you can shift things around and have Jordi play in the defensive midfield. We've seen him along the back four. Not a lot of success when he plays at center back, but still he can shift around and find the right spot to end up being in the defensive midfield. And he would be a starter on a lot of teams in MLS. We've talked about this, where he is a starting quality player in this league right now, but he seems to be content and happy with his position here with the Sounders.
Lovely interchange there. Morris could be through here. Morris got to take it on the left foot, slides inside for Rui Diaz. It's 2-0.
And that's just a perfect series of passing there to get the ball to Jordan Morris, who then he's able to get it back to, I believe, Nico Ladero there in the middle of the park. Just perfect passing by Seattle, and Nico is going to score that 10 times out of 10. Really outstanding job by the Sounders there to get that all the way up to Jordan, who was already running. That's a really, really nice goal. And now with a 2-0 lead, less than 30 minutes left in this game, you got to be thinking even more defensive now for the Sounders. We were just talking about Harry Shipp. This would be the time to make those even more defensive subs. Hold on to this 2-goal lead and come out of here with 3 points.
Apologies on the misidentification on the goal call, but, 10 times out of 10, when there's a Sounders player streaking through an opponent's back line inside the box, it's Raul Ruidiaz.
That's correct.
And the angles here inside CenturyLink Field, not quite as ideal as real life, Jackson.
No, certainly not. And unfortunately, Andrew, we don't have the binoculars we normally do here in the virtual press box, so we can't unfortunately raise those to our eyes. But the hairstyles, unfortunately, are not the ones we see on normal Saturdays at CenturyLink.
Well, either way, Sounders fully in control now at 2-0. DC United need a goal quickly if they're going to have a route back into this match. And a third goal would pretty much just wipe the board clean for Seattle. Through ball there into space. Jovan Jones gets there early, tucks it out of play. We
talked at the start of the second half, Andrew, about what DC was going to play like in that first 20 minutes of the second half. And the dangerous thing was after about 5 minutes of kind of going for it and trying to get that equalizer, they did let Seattle find their footing and find that possession. And once they did, that's where the Seattle Sounders can rule these second halves.
Morris away down the left side here, broken up by Birnbaum.
And now this has the chance to get really open if DC really starts throwing their guys forward, and that would only give the Seattle Sounders a chance to then counter, which they've done a few times, and get that third goal. And as you said, 3-0 is the end of the story, and we can pop the champagne. But until that point, we saw what Vancouver did a couple weeks ago. No celebration yet.
Emil Assad, low ball in there, knocked away by Gomez Andrade. Just nowhere for DC United to go right now, Jackson.
Yeah, this is what we saw a lot in that LAFC game last year in the playoffs, where the Sounders can stay so compact in their final third, in their half, that it just is as good of an attack as the other team may possess, and as much as they may be pushing for a goal, it doesn't matter because the Sounders are so efficient in their own half of the field to not give up anything dangerous. You can hold possession as much as you want, but the Sounders aren't going to give you anything real in terms of shots on goal.
Well won in the middle of the park by Seattle there. This is Raul Ruidiaz. Picks out Kelvin Leerdam, the return.
Was that a no-look pass from Christian Roldan to Kelvin Leerdam as well?
Again, it just comes back to the supreme arrogance that Roldan is known for, resulting in a turnover there. Kamara could be
offside?
Through here. The flag has stayed down. Kamara goes for fly.
Offside?
2-1.
Andrew, where's the offside? What is the robot look? How do you call this? What is that?
Linesmen are never wrong inside the simulation, Jackson. Mathematically speaking, Ola Kamara must have been onside. A nice left-footed finish there, and we've got some action in the late goings at CenturyLink Field. 2-1.
What was the robot looking at? Like, I'm wondering what is going on in the computers. I don't know, Andrew. It's a goal, and it's 2-1, and suddenly we have a game here with 13 minutes left, and this is suddenly a little bit worrying for Seattle. So you gotta, make these last couple subs. If you're Brian Schmetzer, make them really, really key. But that goal that's tough for me. That's where you wish that the simulation had VAR.
Roldan finds Delem. Will the substitute be a hero? Ruidiaz has turned his man. Can't link up for Lodero for what would have been the Uruguayan second goal. Leerdam. Ambitious cross there. Really impressive that Morris was able to get a header to it, but no venom behind the shot.
We talked about Jordan Morris's ability to put himself in between the defender and the ball so many times, and he showed it in this game, and he showed it right there as well. Just not enough oomph on that header there. But for Seattle, I like this. You play like this is a tie game right now. Push for that third goal. Don't give up anything to the back, and it doesn't look like they're pushing those center backs too far forward. Kelvin's a little bit up, but we know he can get back. But, don't play to lose. We talk about this a lot in sports. Don't play to lose, play to win. And the Sounders are playing to win right now. Let's see what this sub is.
DC United going to make a change, going to bring on Federico Higuain. Higuain, a long-time veteran in this league. He might have enough pep in his step to make some difference over these final 7 minutes.
I do wonder, Andrew, how many steps does he have left in MLS? He has been here for a very long time. We obviously know about his extended career, and it's interesting that he found his way to DC at the start of this 2020 season. And here he is now in May 2nd, entering this match in the 84th minute. It's crazy to think where his career has led him, and now he's just kind of a last few minute sub that's going to try to get this team a point here on the road, and that would be certainly a shame for the Sounders to give up this two goal lead here late.
That's a low ball in, and you can certainly see the idea behind the free kick there from Junior Moreno, who again has had a couple of opportunities today. Just too much zip on it. Meanwhile, Diego Valeri has equalized for Portland.
Yeah, we look at that, and LA was leading that match. It's a shame that the Galaxy couldn't hold on there. But, Diego Valeri. He's going to do what he's going to do.
Here's Mora up the left side. Gomez Andrade broke up the cross, couldn't quite get it away, but the Sounders shuffle it back toward midfield.
And we're watching that clock. Tick-tock, now in the 88th minute. These seconds cannot go fast enough right now. Is that Stephen Fry? There we go. Now take some time off the clock as much as you can, Steph.
Number 10, Nicolas Lodero.
DC United starting to lean forward here.
I'm wondering about time wasting in the simulation and how much that exists.
Kamara, hard hit ball out wide. And the flag gone up for offside against Higuain there. Certainly, Jackson, I'm not sure if the simulation has been programmed to have a team nursing a 1-goal lead at home intentionally burn clock.
Well, I think it should. I think that's something we absolutely need, because right now, Gomez Andrade should have sat on that ball for another minute.
We're in the 90th. Sounders leading 2-1, thanks to Christian Roldan and Nico Lodero. Ola Kamara has pulled the visitors within a goal, as we'll play 3 minutes of added time. Hard hit cross in from the right side there. You might have wondered if maybe the better move would have been to go play corner ball, Jackson.
We were just talking about that, and you're right now in these last few minutes, and Jovan Jones just sends that ball in instantly when nobody's there. What is Jovan Jones doing in that moment? Or what I should say, what is the program to Jovan Jones doing in that moment?
The cross from Assad sails inside and it's headed away.
Tick-tock, come on, call it. Blow that final whistle, blow it.
We've played the 3 minutes. Sounders get the ball across midfield, and DC United won't have time for another attack. The Sounders give up a late goal, but hold on here at home to take all 3 points. 2-1, they win it over DC United, Jackson.
Well, that was nerve-wracking, but now we see what this does to the table, and you see Colorado there at the top, but we see Sporting KC, but Seattle not too far below there in terms of that Western Conference. Christian Roldan, that beautiful goal for Seattle, and the great connection of passing with Jordan Morris and Nico Lodero there later on. As we look on the goals and assists, Colorado, obviously, and we have them coming up next week, obviously at the top. But Raul Ruiz-Diaz, Jordan Morris there with 4 and 3 respectively. A great season here so far for the Seattle Sounders. And as we look back at highlights of this match, I mean, this is what you wanted. You wanted 3 points at home, and yeah, it stings to give up that late goal to DC, but I like the way the team responded. I like what they did here as we look at this 26-minute goal to hold on to this 2-1 win.
And this, like we said, your likely winner for goal of the week. Christian Roldan would have proven to be the game winner, but for a very well-placed finish from Ola Kamara. Instead, it's that nice left-footed finish from Nico Lodero that will be the deciding factor in this match. Sounders and Colorado, the only 2 unbeaten teams remaining in the simulation, will face off at CenturyLink Field next Saturday. But until then, it's again your final score, Sounders 2, DC United 1. For Jackson Felts and our producer Aaron Lingley, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long, thank you for joining us here on Scuttlebutt Sims, and we hope to see you next time. Stay safe out there, everybody.